Hey, we're live. Hello, I'm Rachel and Goma. I'm here with Brad Bizjack, and we're going to be talking about how you can reach your goals faster, feeling less stressed, and having more fun and joy in the process. Brad, how's it going?
Oh my gosh, Rachel, I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing on this beautiful Monday?
It's a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. And you're in the middle of a 10-day challenge right now, yeah?
Yeah, we're
How's it
getting towards
going?
the end of it. It's going great. We have 10,000 people in there.
Holy crap. That's pretty impressive.
It's pretty
Wow.
awesome.
That's amazing. So that's exciting. Let's talk goal setting because I know we've had you on the podcast a few times. So if you have not checked those episodes out, go to the She's Making an Impact podcast and go check those out. They were amazing, talking all about mindset. But today I want to talk about goal setting because a lot of times we set a goal and sometimes it could take forever or seemingly forever, and it's like, why is it not happening now? And then we end up stressing out, overwhelmed, like all the things to try to make it happen. So we're not experiencing peace, joy, or any of those things that we ultimately want to feel. So can you talk about that?
Nah.
Nah.
Yeah, definitely. What I see all the time is there's like this inner conflict about goal setting. I see this pop up all the time where people are like, I really want to change my life, but I stopped setting goals. Right? Like I just don't set goals anymore because every time I try to get them, I just come up short or I don't actually hit them. So I figure, what's the point? Or what most people do is they end up setting a goal based on what they've been able to achieve in the past, which is a big no. Don't do that.
Right.
But I see it all the time where people are like, yeah, like this is what I was able to do last month. This is what I was able to do last year. So that's what I'm currently capable of. And we set our dreams based on what we think we're capable of. And that's the problem with goal setting. I think society says that we need to set goals that are realistic to achieve.
Right.
Here's the problem with realistic goals. They don't cause you to change. They cause you to stay the exact same. And everyone says set SMART goals, right?
Right.
And my theory is that a lot of that has to do with this idea that your worth is based on the outcome. If you get something wrong, you fail. That's what society teaches us these days, right?
Yep.
And in the past. And before, we were groomed to be on an assembly line. Like that's what we would do. And we couldn't get anything wrong. And society also taught us that we had to trade a bunch of time for money. And so there's all this inner conflict about I should set goals because the outcome determines my worth. And if I set big goals, I don't really know if I can hit them because I think that requires more of my time. And they think that more sacrifice goes into it. And so if you think that success requires more sacrifice, are you going to want to succeed?
No, especially if it comes at like the success of like the sacrificing your family and time with them. You're gonna be like, no, it's not worth it.
Absolutely not. You're
Yeah.
not going to want to do it. Like society says, working harder is the key to success. No, it's not. If working harder were the key to success, then anyone that worked a lot of hours would be successful, right? So it's something that we need to let go of. And so my challenge for people, and I'll talk more about this a little bit later, is to dream bigger than you believe currently that you're capable of achieving. It's to set goals that cause you to become a new person. It's to set goals that cause your heart to beat faster. And so is it okay if I share some numbers and like a little bit of a story?
Of
With
course.
you guys? Okay, cool. Because I'll share a little bit of a backstory. I'm going to get real with you guys and share some numbers. And it's because this illustrates the power of what we're talking about. None of what I'm talking about is meant to impress you or anything like that. It's meant to show what dreaming huge does. So a couple of years ago, our business was doing about $25,000 a month in sales, right? Pretty good. That's awesome, right? And I thought that we could probably get to $30,000 a month if we really hustled. If we worked harder and we really pushed, we could get to 30K a month. And so I talked to my coach about this goal and I'm like, hey, John, I'm really thinking about going here, 20% increase. I'm pretty excited. And he said, dude, why are you setting such weak goals? And I'm like, dude, 30K is pretty solid. Like why? That's a pretty solid goal. That's a pretty solid monthly revenue. He goes, no. You're missing the point. He said, why would you ever set a goal that you know you can hit? You never set goals that you can do. You set goals that cause you to become a different person, because with a massive goal, you have to think very differently than you currently think right now with your current limitation. He said massive goals don't allow you to think the same way. He said, what's actually exciting for you, Brad? And I was like, $100,000 a month, right? And my heart started to beat faster, and I felt alive and passionate, energetic when I said it, but there was just one problem. And it was Janice and I just had Lillian, our daughter. Well, she had Lillian, right?
You were there too. You kind of had a part of it.
I caught the football, right? So she did all the work. But anyways, it was a very traumatic childbirth. And Janice in the hospital for 14 days, and they both almost died.
Wow.
And I was barely keeping my head above water, and I was the rock for my family. And this is right after I had this conversation of $100,000 a month. But I remember what my coach said. He said, huge dreams change the way you think. And so I kept picturing it, even though I had no idea how it would happen. And there were sleepless nights, baby crying, all this stuff. And then one day, a month or two later, I was in the shower and I got this idea. Don't you love when your ideas come to you when you can't write anything down?
Oh, yeah. That's usually when it happens.
Yeah. And I get this idea, and I came up with this idea of how to serve thousands of people with our online program. And it's a different way of marketing that I've never done before. And I kid you not, we did $800,000 in revenue in the following 6 months.
Wow.
In 6 months, for one reason and one reason only. I set goals that I did not know how to achieve. And I realized something so powerful. You never set goals for the certainty of attainment. You set them to become a new person, a person that's capable of hitting those goals, and a person that appreciates them before they ever happen. It's about expansion instead of certainty. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. What if you've set those big, outrageous goals that cause you to expand and you didn't hit them? And then you're like kind of burnt out, or you're like, what's the point if I've like set those crazy big goals and I haven't achieved it or I haven't gotten close?
The good news is that when you dream this big, burnout doesn't really happen. And we'll talk about what to do when you miss those goals in just a second. But one of the reasons burnout shows up is because we're not coming from a place of contribution and excitement. Burnout is a stressed energy. It's an energy of, I have nothing left. This doesn't excite me. In fact, I think it was the Harvard Business Review. I have to check my data on this. There was a study done that people that set extremely challenging goals exerted 90% less energy than people that set safe goals, because safe goals don't motivate you. You don't get excited about them. So you live in self-defeat every day. And that's what leads to burnout. Yeah. It's when you let go of the contribution and the excitement of what's possible. So first of all, big goals typically cause you to not experience burnout. And if you do, it's because you're basing your worth on the outcome of a goal.
Right.
And you've been worthy your whole life. You've been worthy since the moment you were conceived.
I think that is that's the point to hit home, because a lot of times if we set that big goal and we don't hit it, who here thinks like I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, right? Like all of these stories come into our head of like, see, like I told you couldn't do it, or all those like negative things pop up of like, I told you never make it happen, or people in your past show up of like, how dare you dream so big?
Yeah, that's super common. It's super common. And I see it all the time. There's an attachment to an outcome. I am my results, right? Like,
yeah.
And what typically happens here is that people's emotions are like this, because when business is good, they're good. When business is bad, they're crappy.
Yes.
And so when your worth is no longer attached to an outcome, you're just good.
Yeah.
And when things are going downhill, when it's not going your way, or when you fail, all of a sudden you see the lesson in the failure and you learn something instead of hate something, which causes you to grow to the next level, because your worth is no longer tied to success.
Oh, okay. For you guys that are here, like you're gonna have to listen to this a few times over, because this one thing could radically change your perspective in business. Like, because my worth used to be tied up to how much was I making that month? Like what, like all of those things. And when I stepped out of that and I'm like, I'm not my business, I'm not my results, like I am me and I'm worthy no matter what, that's when things will shift. And you start to be like curious about, if I didn't hit that goal, why not? Like what happened? And it's not you're a failure. It's just curiosity of like, I wonder what I could have done differently.
Spot on. I mean, what you just said right there, curiosity, what could I have done differently? So I shared like the pretty numbers, right? But what I didn't share is that when we did those pretty numbers, and last year, we missed almost every single one of our goals. We missed almost every single goal we set, and we did 3 times more revenue last year than the year before. We did more revenue last year than the previous 3 years combined.
Wow.
And we missed every single goal. And so the point is, it's not about the certainty of completion. It's about setting a dream that makes you feel pulled, that makes you feel excited, and allows you to let go of detachment or attachment, because you need to be detached in goal setting. It's, I am declaring a goal. I'm excited about that goal, and I'm committing to it. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make it happen, whatever's in my control to make it happen. And I'm letting go of attachment. And what that means is I'm surrendering it. I'm giving it up, and I'm saying I'm going to do everything within my power, and I'm going to be detached from the outcome. And that means that when you're detached from the outcome, it means that it's not that you should own nothing, it's that nothing should own you. That's detachment. And when you set goals from that place, it allows you to dream bigger and get more excited about what could be. Does that make sense?
Totally. How do you keep your excitement and momentum so it's not like a goal that you set and then you like put it in your desk drawer, tuck it away, and then kind of forget about it?
Yes. The high performer's secret to big dreams.
Yes.
And so this thing is a magnificent specimen, right? So what do I mean by that? It can't tell the difference between an imagined reality and what's real. And so have you ever noticed, like if you've ever gotten into a deep visualization of something, this thing feels the emotions that you think that thing will bring you.
Yeah.
So for every single day, I picture my wife and daughter and I out on a boat because we're going to buy a lake house. And I picture it and see it as real. And I imagine looking over at my wife and the smile on our faces about like, we did it, right? Like that feeling. And I picture it as if it's done. And when I picture it as if it's done, it feels real now. See, people set goals thinking that those goals will cause them to feel a certain way, but you can feel that feeling right now. All you need to do is visualize it. And so when you visualize your goal on a daily basis, then you live with those emotions that you think the goal will create every day, which causes you to actually build more momentum and excitement to create the goal. If you just set a goal and go, okay, going in my desk drawer, right? Then nothing's going to happen. So it's not to set the goal, it's practice the goal, rehearse the goal, be in the goal. And that's what will cause you to have the energy and creativity to actually build it.
I love it. I told you in our Voxer thread, like the 2 things that happened recently that I was like mind blown that were on our vision board. So one was like, I had like the picture of our vacation of where we would be. And I didn't even realize it when I was sitting on our balcony that we were like living the picture until I was FaceTiming with TJ, my son. And he was just like, Mom, isn't that the picture from your vision board? And I was like, you're right. Oh my gosh. He's so, he notices everything. He's so observant. I'm like, you're totally right. Like, holy crap. As we were just making an offer on my husband's like dream equestrian property, and the offer was accepted. And I've been like visualizing that happening. And I'm like, oh, it's just like, man, it's wild. It's so cool.
It's crazy. People hear all this like law of attraction stuff, but there's actually science behind it, which is bananas. And so it's real. It works. It's just that people give up before they even try because they base their worth on an outcome, and they don't need to do that. You can live with the feelings of your wishes right now.
I feel like we could talk for like 5 more hours, but I know you have so much going on. And I know you're hosting a webinar coming up. Can you talk to us about that webinar, please?
Nah.
Please.
Of course. So a lot of people that are watching this are probably going, okay, but like, how do I actually do that? How do I do that when I've been defeated before, or I've set big goals and I've gotten my feelings hurt, or people don't support me, or they don't love me and don't care about me enough to support this big dream? Or what if I don't have the confidence to get there? And so what I put together is essentially 10 years of personal development experience working with over 10,000 people in multiple countries. I've recognized patterns that keep people stuck and patterns that help people thrive. And I'm going to bring all that to you in a masterclass. And that masterclass is going to be powerful. It's called How to Accelerate Your Success Without Working More Hours. And I think that's what everyone really wants. They want faster success and they don't want to sacrifice time for their family. And so it's basically how high performers achieve their goals faster than all their peers. And we're going to cover a couple of things. The first thing is a deeper dive in what we just talked about, atypical goal setting. How do we actually make what we talked about today happen? The second piece is what can get in the way of that, which is perfection. How do we beat perfection forever so that it doesn't get in the way of our big dreams? And finally, what I call confidence on demand. How do we develop confidence when we don't necessarily have the money, the time, or the support that we want to create those big dreams? It's powerful. There's over 1,000 people registered already. Make sure you get in that masterclass. I'm going to bring some amazing value. And at the end of it, I'll give you the opportunity to work with me on an even deeper level if you see that it's a good fit for you. So I'm so pumped for this class. It's going to be wildly valuable. It is Wednesday, this coming Wednesday,
Wow.
March 2nd at 10 a.m. Central Time. Rachel's got the link for you to enroll, but make sure you get enrolled. It will change your life. It's going to be so powerful.
Yes. It's going to be rachelandgom.com/Brad webinar. And I highly suggest you go check that out. You just need more Brad in your life. Like, you can feel his energy. It's contagious. Yes. So definitely go to rachelandgom.com/Brad webinar now so you can join him. Any last words before we hop off?
Just that you're meant for greatness. I mean, your worth is never based on what you achieve. You're worthy right now. You've been worthy your whole life. You're always going to be worthy, and no goal will ever take that from you or give that to you. And when you accept that you are worthy right now, and you use the muscles to build your self-worth, which I'll teach you on this webinar, then what happens is you no longer have to prove that you're enough. And when you don't have to prove that you're enough, you put yourself out there in a more profound way and make a greater impact in the world.
Whoo! All right, we're going to end on that. You're awesome. All right. Have an amazing day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.